Top of the hour. Welcome, good morning, and welcome to Unity of Tacoma. It's so nice to have you here with us today. It's such a joyous time for me when I come on Sunday to be able to connect with people, to be able to share, to just laugh and be present and in the moment. And it's such a profound spiritual experience each and every Sunday, each and every time I'm here with everyone, when I'm here and able to share what I know and share what I think, and mostly just to be able to have you here. And so I'm glad that you decided to be here, whether you're meeting us today on Zoom or you're meeting us later today on YouTube. We're so glad that you're here because there is no time that isn't the right time. So I'm glad that you're here. My talk title today is The Golden Rule, The Path Beyond the Divide. So we're going to reflect on a spiritual principle that we're both very familiar with, and it's deeply radical if you think about it. And we've heard it since childhood, or some of us have. Do to others as we would have done to ourselves, or to do for ourselves. Now, it sounds pretty simple. But if we really lived it, if we actually lived this way in the world, it would actually change the way our society and culture runs, and our nation even might look differently if we actually lived this golden rule. So we're going to be talking about that a little bit more later in the talk. But I would like to invite Victoria. Victoria, are you ready to do announcements?
I sure can do that. Yes. Good
Perfect.
morning, everybody. I'm
Thank
so
you.
glad to be here. Um, the biggest announcement I have to say today is that yesterday was our sandwich making for the Unhoused of Tacoma. It was very successful. We had a great time. It's such a loving and sharing experience of giving and making a positive difference um, to those who are in need. And as the universe would have it, this week, um, we have joined with another organization called the Kingfisher. And it is a homeless organization of tiny houses, like 60 tiny houses, all in one place, that is housing people. They aren't full yet, it's that new. But we are now a piece of them. And we took our sandwiches and our donations there yesterday. They were so gratefully received, and they are going directly to the people that we are servicing. We are going to continue our relationship with Nativity House and Catholic Services and other organizations we may pair with, but our goal um, is to reach the population as directly as we can that is in need of what we have to offer to give. And we are following the footsteps of our one of our inspirations, and that would be Pastor Jimmy Thompson, who has passed and is missed, and who made such a difference in so many hundreds of people's lives. And he actually went in and talked to the people and gave to the hands of the people in need. And that's what we would like to follow. So I'm so happy we've made another step in that direction and will continue to do so. Our next meetings for making sandwiches will be the first Saturday of the month in October, November, and December. And we're not going to play around with the date those months. We are going to stick with the first Saturday of the month. We invite all volunteers who would like to join us to show up, and you can follow us on Facebook. Um, One of our team members, Stanley, did a terrific Facebook post yesterday of us actually doing the sandwich making, and uh, and so you can see us there as well. Um, Other than that, I would just like to say something briefly. It's not exactly an announcement, but this week there were two memorials for people in involved in Unity for decades who have now passed and started their next journey. And I was fortunate, along with several others, to attend their memorials this week. And it just shows the importance of community, unity and community. You know, some of us have been friends for 40 years. One of the people yesterday, Ginny, she's been involved with Unity for 56 years, and lived a life well lived, as well as Rich, who was one of our dear members as well and led us in an exemplary manner. So, with happiness for their next journey and their lives well lived, and us striving to do as well. I say good morning to you all and welcome.
Thank you, Victoria.
Mhm.
I just also want to add to the announcements. Don't forget to sign up for your Faith in Action Art project. And so I'm going to put that in the chat for those of you who are here. Please do that. We need to have a cutoff time for that. So I'm going to give it to you by next Sunday. I need to have it all filled in, or we're going to have to rethink how we're going to do the Faith in Action, because it's something that we do have to plan for. Even though it seems like it doesn't take much time, it does. So please sign up for your art project if you haven't already done so we can make sure that everybody is involved that wants to be involved. All right. Thank you so much, Victoria. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right. So as we go through the service at this point, let's go into the prayer for protection. I will share my screen and you can see the words on the screen. If you are unaware of how to, or know the words of the prayer protection, please say it with me. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. And wherever we are, God is, and all is well. So as we sit here in this moment of prayer, we sit with deep gratitude for all the people that we have that contributes to what we do here at Unity of Tacoma, that contributes to what they do in the community. We are so grateful for everyone who were able to attend yesterday, but for those people that also attend and do things in other ways, things that give to what it is that we are trying to provide and do in this world through Unity of Tacoma. And so we're so grateful for everyone here. This week has been difficult for our culture and our society and our nation. There are lots of things that are going on that we hear about that make us feel sometimes defeated, maybe, or struggling with what is happening. But we know here at Unity that there is nothing but love and light. And so we can turn this around. We can bring it to a place where there is nothing but positive energy in this world. It's about a practical positive energy, not getting rid of what is actually there, or turning a blind eye, or burying our head in the sand. It is about looking at it truthfully and seeing how we can affect the change, how we can be catalysts, how we can be the peace and love in the world that we want to see. So again, with gratitude, we are here to celebrate each other, celebrate our time, celebrate what's going to be experienced in our life, and with anticipation for the greatest good. And so it is. Amen. Our affirmation for today, we always start off our service with an affirmation for those of you who are joining us new. I'm going to share my screen again. And this time our affirmation is a little bit long, so please say it with me. I see the divine in all people. I choose to treat others as I wish to be treated. I am a bridge of peace in a divided world. Let's say it again. I see the divine in all people. I choose to treat others as I wish to be treated. I'm a bridge of peace in a divided world. And so as we move into our service and our message today, I always start off with a reading. I usually pick something that's spiritual or something that's inspirational. And I had a conversation with a young person just recently that reminded me that there is something missing right now in the world. And so that's what my talk is going to be about. But I wanted to bring in this reading by an author by the name of Robert Fulghum. And he wrote the book, All I Ever Really Needed to Know, I Learned in Kindergarten. And so we're going to be going back to the basics today. We're going to be talking about what it is we learned in kindergarten and how we can bring that forward into the world and bring it back as something that we can focus on. So here's the reading. All I ever really needed to know about how to live and what to do and how to be, I learned in kindergarten. Wisdom was not at the top of the graduate school mountain, but there in the sandbox at nursery school. These are the things I learned. Share everything. Play fair. Don't hit people. Put things back where you found them. Clean up your own mess. Don't take things that aren't yours. Say sorry when you hurt somebody. Wash your hands before you eat. And this one is really important. Flush. Warm cookies and cold milk are good for you. Give them to someone who feels sad. Live a balanced life. Learn some and think some, and draw and paint and sing and dance and play and work every day. Take a nap every afternoon. Be aware of wonder. Remember the little seed in the plastic cup? It grows, the roots grow down and the plant grows up, and nobody really knows how or why, but we are all like that. Everything you need to know is in there somewhere. And it's still true no matter how old you are. When you go out into the world, it is best to hold hands and stick together. I thought this was really appropriate because this week, like I said, I had this conversation this week with someone who we were talking about the golden rule and how I mentioned how that is my principle in life, how I live by the golden rule. And this person said to me, I've never heard of the golden rule. It's like, are you kidding me right now? He goes, no, I've never heard of the golden rule. And I was like, I paused and I was like, wow. And I thought, well, maybe that's a generational thing. And I'm just feeling a little bit, my age. Because when I was younger, the golden rule is what we live by. We learned it before we even went to kindergarten. We learned it like we learned the Pledge of Allegiance when we watched Romper Room. So we learned it right away. The golden rule was how we were to live our lives. Earlier this week, as I was going to social media, and it's been a really difficult week if you've been on social media or any kind of media, there were a bunch of tragedies this week, and I would be remiss not to speak to that a little bit because it's been an important thing. And there were people who were mourning, people who were upset and who were just trying to make sense of what's going on in the world. And someone posted the Lord's Prayer. And so I'd like to take a moment to say that, because I think even though some of us aren't Christian in that way, there is a profoundness in the prayer. So I'm going to say it. If you know it, you can say it with me. And it goes, Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen. This was an important phrase, and I understand why some people grasp onto that, because it does kind of give you comfort and hope. Give us this day our daily bread. Of course, we need sustenance in all different ways. So it's not just eating the bread, it's the emotional and the cognitive and the idea that we need sustenance in a different way. Forgive us our debts, and that's not just our financial ones. Those are the debts that we accumulate as we're trying to make sure that people forgive us for our transgression and the things that we don't do quite right. And lead us not into temptation, and deliver us from evil. I think that goes into together. That it's not just about evil as in doing bad things, where we are tempted to do things that are take us off track of what it is that we are trying to approve for and to bring into our lives, where we're trying to live in our own principle and our own integrity. Are we staying on track? And that's not necessarily evil in the way that we know it today. But when this was written, that is what it meant. We were veering off course and we need to get back on. That was the original definition of sin, when we are off course and we need to get back on. This specific prayer, who are unfamiliar with it or unfamiliar with its history, was given by Jesus to his followers on the Sermon on the Mount, where he also recited things like the Beatitudes and other commandments for his people to follow. And one of those commandments that was brought to my attention was, do to others as you would you have done to you. So that, as you might know, for those of you who do know, is the basis of the Golden Rule. Do to others as you would have done to you. So I would like to talk about that a little bit today. I'd like us to consider how the Golden Rule transcends a specific religion or culture, and how unity metaphysics supports that idea, and how this is a universal truth that can guide us to this deep space of meaning, where we can maybe build a bridge between the polarization in our country today. So like I said, when I was a little girl, the Golden Rule was learned before I could even read and write. So before I even entered kindergarten, or when I first entered into Sunday school, I knew about the Golden Rule. But of course, once I got into kindergarten, it was something that really motivated us to be good people. And we also, at that time, in the early 70s, there was a lot of educational TV coming about, thanks to PBS. And I'm going to plug PBS because public broadcasting station is the bomb, and it still is, provides educational programs for people. Educational TV was a thing. So I watched Romper Room, and I watched Mr. Rogers, and I watched Electric Company, and I especially watched Sesame Street. So I was searching for my talk today. I do that on Saturday, and I usually research what I'd like to talk about. And I was really interested in what it was and how it was. I came to this understanding that the Golden Rule was really important. So I came across a video, and because it's been such a dark week, I wanted to share it with you because I think we need a little bit of play today. It's a very short video, so don't get me wrong. I'm not going to take you down this rabbit hole of this long talk. It's only about 1.5 minutes long. So please be with me. Put on your kindergarten shoes. That's what we're going to be walking in for a few minutes. And let's go in and learn a little bit from Sesame Street. And so let me share that with you.
You can't ignore me forever. I only want what's best for Westeros.
And I only want for you to not get what you want.
You see, this is why you don't have any friends.
Excuse
Who are you?
Oh, Elmo is Elmo of Sesame Street. Elmo thinks that you two need to respect each other. When Elmo has a problem with his friends like Abby or Cookie Monster, Elmo doesn't get upset. Elmo listens and learns from what they have to say.
If we stop fighting and work together, we can be stronger. I'm willing to learn and listen if you are.
Will Miss Cersei try to listen and understand what Mr. Tyrion is saying?
I can try.
Yay! Trying is a great way to start.
A toast to our new red friend.
Oh, yummy! Elmo loves toast! Yay! What?
So yes, I brought in the Sesame Street for you today, and you might be wondering why that is. Because we are going back to the basics. We're going to be talking about what it means to follow the golden rule. And the first thing that I found with this video is the focus on respect. One of the things that I think that is missing right now is a respect for other people and for their ability to be able to speak their mind without judgment. However, there's also a social responsibility that comes when you speak. So when you have the platform to speak, it's important to be able to look at what it is you're saying. I was having a conversation with one of the instructors at the school that I work with. I'm a faculty coordinator there, and I was getting him situated in this new class that we're teaching in DEI focus. And we were talking about how there is a severe lack in social responsibility. And we're not seeing this today. And I see this also in students that we're trying to train to become leaders in their communities. We're seeing a lack of personal and social responsibility. And I told him, I said, one of the things that we are trying to really, really get focused on is the idea that there is a social presence that you as a leader within your community have to bring forward, that your words have weight, your words matter. And no matter what you say, whether you're saying it to get social media likes, or you're just trying to get attention, or whatever it is, your words matter. And having respect for each other as we share our words is important. But it's also important to remember that there is a reciprocity that happens when we share our words. When we share what it is that we feel or the ideas that we have impact. And it all goes back to what I was talking about with the golden rule. See, when I learned about the golden rule when I was really young, I made empathy and compassion for other people my guiding principle. It became what it was I was doing in the world, no matter what I did. I do to others as I would like to have done to me. I would like people to treat me, and I treat people the way that we would like to have this reciprocity, this give and take, give and receive. And we talk about that all the time in Unity. To this day, no matter who it is I'm talking to, whether I agree or disagree, I try, like the video was saying, I try to bring in compassion and understanding at some point that everyone has the right to their ideas and their thoughts. Also, I am responsible for my response to that. I am responsible. So no matter if I disagree or if I agree, it's my responsibility to hold space for the right outcome. If someone is unconscious and unable to make the right choices or to say the right thing or to incite some kind of negativity, my responsibility is not to continue that. It's my responsibility to hold the light on it. My responsibility. So that may sound like I'm self-righteous, like I have this special ability that other people do not have, and that's not the case at all. Everyone has the ability. Just some people have not been taught how to be kind and to give and receive. And that's the point of the golden rule, to be able to give respect in order to receive respect, to give love in order to receive love. You're giving and taking. So there's a lot of different religions around the world that are that promote this. And so it's not just a Christian thing. So many people think, oh, you learned that in Sunday school, so therefore, I'm not going to know that. I'm not a Christian. Well, that doesn't matter. See, in Christianity, I'm going to share this with you. Jesus said in Matthew 7:12, "In everything do to others what you would have them do to you, for this is the law and the prophets." So that's where we think it came from. However, we also know in Judaism, in Leviticus 9:18, you shall love your neighbors as yourself. Jesus also said that, but he didn't say it first. Obviously, somebody else did first. In Islam, none of you truly believes until he loves for his brother what he loves for himself. And that is written in the Hadith. In Hinduism, in the Mahabharata, it says, "This is the sum of duty. Do not do to others what would cause pain if done to you." In Buddhism, hurt not others in ways that you yourself would find hurtful. And in Native traditions, there is wisdom such as do not wrong or hate your neighbor, for it is not he who you wrong, but yourself. So isn't that interesting how it transcends a specific culture or society? That the idea that the way you treat others will come back to you. It goes back to that unity principle of giving and receiving. So no matter where you live in the world, no matter what century you were born in, what language you speak, the truth still is there. How you treat others is how you shape your own life. This is more than a coincidence. To me, it says that there's evidence that there's a universal law. And that goes into what they believe in unity. In unity, we talk about mind action. Thoughts held in mind produce after their kind. So the golden rule is a lived expression of that principle. When we choose to treat someone with kindness or compassion or respect, I'm not only blessing them with that, I am shaping my own consciousness. I am tuning in my mind into that vibration of compassion and kindness and respect. And I'm bringing that into my own life. On the other hand, when I get angry or I lash out or I belittle people or I judge them or I dehumanize them, I diminish myself. My thoughts of anger or my idea of superiority doesn't just affect the person I'm talking to. It takes root in my own heart. And it's something that can fester and grow there if I let it. Unity's co-founder, Charles Fillmore, wrote that spiritual law is impartial and unfailing. So when we give love, we receive love. That's just universal law. When we sow anger and distress, we get anger and distress back. The golden rule isn't just moral advice. It's metaphysical truth, and it's truth in action. Now, I'm going to be really honest with you. It's really hard to do right now. We are living in a time when practicing the golden rule is super hard. In the United States, we are deeply divided right now. We are politically, socially, and culturally split apart. And many of us have experienced that personally, whether it was with our family members or our friends who see the world differently than we do. And we have the holidays coming up very quickly. We may dread that because maybe there's certain conversations we want to avoid or so we don't want to escalate the problem or go into an argument with our family or friends. And every time we pick up our phones or turn on our computers, we're looking at social media, and it intensifies that. We're looking at the negative in the world. We're looking at that hatred and that judgment. And people are being reduced to labels. So you're liberal or conservative, or you're woke, or you're traditional, or you're left or right, or you're left or right. We are dividing ourselves into these camps, and social media is the catalyst for a lot of that. And it can feel like we're living in two different realities, and that we have to decide where to live. Either left or right, or up or down, or there's two. It's that polarization. It's the duality that Jesus was trying to tell us, or any spiritual teacher was trying to tell us to avoid. But there is a middle way. All of them talk about the middle way, the middle path, the way to be different. We do not have to choose one or the other. We can stay that middle path and say, okay, I'm going to step outside of this duality, and I'm going to live with unity and oneness in the community. So what if we then, instead of reacting with the same energy of hostility and fear and worry and doubt and all the things that we're hearing about in our culture right now, what if we paused and we just asked ourselves, how would I want to be treated in this moment? How do I want to feel right now? If I were on the other side of the conversation, if I were the one speaking, how would I want someone to see me? So this tiny little shift in our consciousness, this idea, thought process, not only interacts with ourselves and our ability to function in the world, but it also changes the environment with which we live in the atmosphere within our communities. So how do we do this? How can we actually really do this in the world? Because it seems like it's so daunting. I am one small person in this huge world of all of this thing going on, all these things that are going on that we hear about every day, and it seems like they're getting more and more prevalent. How do we do that? Because it's really hard. Because we know how we should be, but how do we do that? Well, we have to do something. We can pray about it. We can think about it. We can make plans about it, but we really have to have some kind of action plan. And that's what the golden rule is. It is an action plan. It allows us to be able to interact with the world in a way that brings us to that middle way where we are bringing peace to the world. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is listening with respect. And that's really hard because you may not agree. And in many cases, I don't agree. Now, it doesn't mean you have to compromise your values or your belief systems or your ideals, and that's not what we're asking for. We're not asking you to silence your truth at all, or being able to sit back and not be able to be the voice in the world that you want to be. But it does mean that you can grant a moment for someone else to speak their mind and their truth. Everyone wants to feel heard in the world. And when we give that gift, we make space for dialogue instead of debate. We're starting it off with love and kindness instead of an argument and anger. So living with respect, moving forward in the world with respect. We can try practicing empathy, even when it's really hard. We all know people. We see them on a daily basis. We hear about them. We know they're in the world. And empathy means that you kind of have to step into their shoes for a minute and see what they're see what they're seeing, think what they're thinking. What experiences might they have had in their lives to bring them to this point? What fears and hopes do they have that might be driving the choices that they've created? There's something that may be unsaid or unknown behind the actions or the motives of the person that you're speaking to. You don't have to agree in order to practice empathy. You can simply recognize that they are human, having a human experience, and that they need to have a little bit of compassion. And finally, we can choose kindness over winning. And we're always so focused on winning. Even in conversations. And conversations then become not dialogue, they become debates or battles. So our goals shift from to winning the argument instead of just listening and having a conversation and sharing information back and forth. Now we're just looking to one up someone else. But the golden rule asks us not to do that. It asks us to have a higher goal. It was Dr. Martin Luther King who said, "We must learn to live together as brothers or perish together as fools." One of the Unity's foundational affirmations is one presence and one power in the universe, God the good, omnipotent. If that is true, then every person, even the person that you disagree with, the person that is spouting off things that you do not agree with, and you may be fiercely against for right reasons, even those people are an expression of God. That's how we live here at Unity. The Christ presence dwells within each and every one of them, and it dwells within us as well. So I'm not asking you to put away anything that you disagree with. I am not promoting any kind of negativity. I am not promoting in any way the hostility or the violence or any of that we're seeing in our culture today. However, I am asking us to look at each other as if they are human beings having a human experience, suffering the human condition, and we can express the human condition in a different way. We can look at it from the point of view of love and compassion, like we talk about each and every Sunday. Now, when I'm here on Sunday, I'm here to uplift you. I'm here to give you advice and to guide you on the path towards the idealism of unity, where we are one love, one source, one being, one compassion and kindness in the world. And we are making change towards that. And that means that we need to remember in all situations, even the situations that we don't agree with, we have to show up in that way. And it's hard. It is really hard because it can really make it feel like you're not doing anything, but you are. You are being the model of the person and the people that we want to have in our world. How do we teach children best? Well, we can set them down at a desk and we can give them a bunch of assignments and we can lecture to them. But how do they learn best? Children learn best by observing the adults in their world, observing the people around them. And it doesn't stop at children. We start to observe what other people are doing in the world. And that's why we're seeing what we're seeing in the world today, because we're seeing too much of what we don't want. We need to show up and show people what we do want. We need to model that in our world. How can we be the change we want to see? The golden rule at its core that asks us to see beyond what's in our physical realm and what is appearance. And we look past our outer differences and remember that this person, despite their whatever we believe about them or what they're saying, is also a child of God, is also a child of Source, and this person carries that divine spark. So when I treat somebody in the world with anything, whether it is I meet them or I'm at the grocery store or I'm at the gas station or whatever it is, I treat people as I want to be treated. I'm honoring the Christ within them. And I am then, as I do so, I am honoring the Christ within myself. I am perpetuating that message in the world by being that way. Now that's hard, because when you are a person who tries to make compassion and kindness in the world an important thing, and you approach everything with kindness, then you sometimes become you become the person who they pick on because they think you're weak. They think kindness and compassion and love and joy for other people is weakness, that we don't have a backbone, that we don't have a belief system that is going to support something that brings us strength. And I believe it's absolutely the opposite. Kindness and compassion and love brings us strength. It allows us to be stable, allows us to be emotionally intelligent, and it allows us to be what we want to see in the world. I'm not just going to speak my mind. I'm going to show the world what I mean. And if we don't start doing that, if we just start talking about things that we believe, but we don't show it, we're just being hypocritical. The idea of the golden rule brings that to our minds and our consciousness and brings it home. We are in a space in our time where people don't know about that. They don't know about the golden rule. They don't even know what that means. Treat others. This person I was speaking to said that they do remember being told once in school when they got in trouble, actually, that you remember if you can't say something nice, don't say anything at all. That's what they remember. And I was like, wow, that is a portion of the golden rule, but it's not all of it. So we need to get back to being the expression of that in the world, expressing that, not just speaking about it, not just teaching about it, but modeling it. So, where in your life are you being invited to live the golden rule? Is there a family member whose views that are different than yours that makes your blood pressure rise? I have a lot of those, just to be honest. Or a coworker whose behavior is really annoying you or is frustrating. Maybe you have a neighbor whose choices or ideals are different than yours, and you don't quite understand why they're that way. So imagine treating them with patience, and you treated them with kindness or respect. That we went back to the idea when we were in kindergarten and we were watching Sesame Street. And we were sitting there going, at least we're trying. We're trying to give that respect, trying to be the best that we can be in the world. And imagine what would happen if we actually started to listen to each other, not listening to the rhetoric that comes out of people who want to be able to make a name for themselves in the world. That's not what I'm asking for. I'm asking for deep understanding, an understanding that requires empathy, compassion, and respect, and kindness for each other. And when enough of us decide to live this way, something powerful can really happen. We begin to shift our collective energy, that we become what Eric Butterworth, a Unity writer, said, open channels for God's love. So we can imagine a society where people truly treated each other the way that we want to be treated. So think about that. What if we really did that? So political debates would still exist, but they would be grounded in mutual respect. Communities would still have disagreements, and that's going to be forever, but they would listen before they responded. And social media would change, and it would become a place of dialogue instead of division. Now, I know this is an idealistic point of view, but remember, spiritual law transcends all belief. It is real. Every choice we make to embody this golden rule can ripple out beyond us and into the community, into the world, into our nation, into everyone else. And we become the models of what we want to see in the world. So let's be reminded from our reading that I read earlier today from Robert Fulghum, who said, all I ever really needed to know, I learned in kindergarten. He said, no matter how old you are, when you go out into the world, it is best to hold hands and stick together. Think about that. If we were to actually do that and to say, you know what, I can hold your hand. We can have different opinions, but we can be together, present, and we can make positive changes in the world. Think about that and take that into your week as you move forward. And so it is. Thank you for listening to me. All right, so let's go into meditation. That's going to help us to get into a space of bringing that positivity and love into the world. So let me share my screen. And get into a comfortable position. Here we go. Settle in. Close your eyes if that feels comfortable. And take a deep breath in. And slowly release it. Feel your body supported by the chair beneath you and the ground beneath your feet. Allow your shoulders to soften, your jaw to relax, and your heart to open. With each breath, let yourself arrive fully into this present moment. Here, now, safe, loved, and whole. And in this relaxed state, bring your awareness to your heart center. Imagine a warm golden light glowing there. This light is the divine presence within you, the Christ presence. It's eternal, unshakable, and radiant. With each inhale, this golden light expands. And with each exhale, it softens and fills your whole body with peace. Inhale the golden light and exhale peace. And from this state of peace, I'd like to bring to your mind's eye someone whom you feel a sense of division. It may be a friend, a family member, a neighbor, or a public figure whose views challenge your own. Notice any feelings that arise. Any tension, resistance, maybe even anger. But just notice it. Just hold it. You don't need to fix or change anything. Simply allow those feelings to be held in the golden light of your heart. Now imagine that golden light of love expanding outward from your heart towards this person. As it reaches them, silently say, "I wish for you what I wish for myself.
peace, love, understanding, and well-being. Repeat that again. I wish for you what I wish for myself. Peace, love, understanding, and well-being. Feel the truth of that wish, and as you extend it, notice how the light grows brighter within you. And in your mind's eye now, see the light between the two of you form into a bridge. The bridge is strong, steady, and safe. It connects your heart to theirs, not by agreement of opinion, but by the shared truth of divine presence. Now imagine this bridge widening, stretching beyond just the two of you, spanning your community, your nation, and your world. People of different beliefs, backgrounds, and perspectives walking toward one another, meeting on the bridge, choosing connection over division. And during this time of connection, silently repeat to yourself, I see the divine in all people. I choose to treat others as I wish to be treated. I am a bridge of peace in a divided world. Let these words sink deep into your consciousness as you repeat them again. I see the divine in all people. I choose to treat others as I wish to be treated. I am a bridge of peace in a divided world. So let's sit for just a moment with that thought. And as we come to the end of this meditation, take another deep breath in and slowly release it. Again, one more time, repeat this affirmation. I see the divine in all people. I choose to treat others as I wish to be treated. I am a bridge of peace in a divided world. Allow yourself to feel the gratitude for the light within you and the light within all beings. Bring your awareness back to your body, back into the space and time that you're in. You begin to feel yourself in a physical realm. You can bring in some movement and softly open your eyes. And take this time of gratitude. Feel that loving kindness within you. And so it is. Amen.
And as we come out of this meditation, I invite you to place your hand on your heart and take a few deep breaths. And I'd like us to affirm one more time. I see the divine in all people. I treat others as I wish to be treated. I am a bridge of peace in a divided world. And as we sit here in this meditative state, let's end this service with a prayer. Mother, Father, God, we are opening our hearts to your wisdom. In time of division, allow us to be peacemakers. Where we see fear, let's bring us some love. Where there is anger, let's bring compassion. And where there is hurt, let's bring healing. Allow us to commit ourselves today to this radical idea, this simplicity that comes when we start to implement the golden rule. And so it is. Amen. Before we go off today, I would like to actually end today with our peace song. So please get ready to sing, because Let There Be Peace on Earth is our peace song, and I would like to share that.
On earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God our Creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let